Yeah.
Now, with Caitlin Clark, she's not a villain, but she has a villain,
Yeah,
right? What was it? Angel Reese,
Angel
right?
Reese.
Yeah.
And that dynamic, and I
Yep.
know there's a racial component to it. I'm not going to try to hide that. But the fact that they're so different and that people are on one side or the other. Angel Reese is one of the reasons Caitlin Clark is such a big deal. You need that extra element. You're a screenwriter. You know this better than anyone,
Yeah,
Jay. You got to have a dynamic. Something's got to
Well,
work.
Ange, it's Larry Bird and Magic. I mean, that
Yes,
was, 50 years ago. It's the same thing.
right. By the way, I was on Team Magic then because I knew Bird and he was a horse's ass. All right, but anyway,
and welcome back, everybody, to another exciting edition of the TV Show Podcast. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by Rhea Hughes and Angelo Cataldi. And guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm back video-wise this week. I don't know.
wow.
Yay!
It's hard to
Oh,
distinguish me from the big J that was there, but our
Love a big J.
yeah.
yeah, our listenership was up big last week.
Yep.
And I think that even the people who just listened to it on audio were relieved that there was no chance of seeing me. And that's
But here's
why,
the thing, Jay. Jay, if the numbers go back down this week, take yourself out and me out, and I think we'll really get a bump.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we'll call it Rhea Hughes and letters. And it'll go big, very big.
Love it.
All right, so let's start with a show that is, I want to say homegrown because it's a guy from the Philadelphia area named Shane Gillis who was leapt onto the scene in a big way 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when he was cast by Saturday Night Live and then cast off by Saturday Night Live, which is the first time I really heard about him in any kind of big way. Since then, he has grown a huge following. And that following has led to 2 seasons of a TV show called Tires on Netflix. And Angelo, I want to start with you because you are a big fan of this show. And I want to talk about what you like about it, but specifically the jump from season one to season two. What changed for you and what made the show so much better?
All right. I found this thing a couple of weeks ago because they did put up on the screen on Netflix's homepage that Tires season two is coming, starring Shane Gillis. I didn't know anything about Tires. I had seen Shane Gillis a couple of times on Saturday Night Live. He was really good on it. He's understated. He's a kind of overweight, schlubby type. He reminds me of John Candy a little bit.
I can
Candy's
see that.
friend. And I went, I don't know anything about this show. I do a podcast on TV. How do I not know this? So I said, let me put it on. And right away, you could see it's really low budget. And it's a bunch of guys working in a tire company. And the father's the owner. And then the uncle's involved. But the 20-minute, it's a 20-minute episode. When it was over, I went, I got to see another one. By the sixth episode, the last one of season one, I was addicted.
Right.
I just, and it's not quality. There's nothing, it's funny, but it's kind of lowbrow kind of stuff. But I just kept, so the second season drops last week and it's 12 episodes. I ate through those 12 episodes in no time. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I don't have a lot going on in my life, but that's not the point. And the thing is, the second season took a major leap from the first season. They added as a regular a A-list actor, Thomas Hayden Church,
Yeah.
Wow.
a Little Miss Sunshine, Divorce with Sarah Jessica Parker, and it just kept getting better and better and better. And by the end of the second season, which, I watched the whole 18 episodes in about a week's period of time. I went, I really think this is a great show. And
Yeah.
I can't explain why it's not hilarious. It's funny. The characters are not vivid, but they're interesting.
Yep.
And this Shane Gillis, in his understated way, it works. That's what I saw. it works. And that's why I was begging Rhea to see it because I didn't think there was any way Rhea would enjoy that show. So I'm dying to hear what she's got to say. It's a good
Okay,
show.
so
Tires on Netflix.
now I had watched the first episode without you asking me to watch it. So I watched the first episode. The second episode, because I knew we were going to talk about it, I watched in the dentist office yesterday because Angelo, you know me, I arrive early for everything. I arrive there, they go, we're 20 minutes behind. I'm like, of course you are. What am I going to do? I'll watch tires. I was laughing hysterically in the dentist office. I know you didn't think that I was going to like this show. I love this show. I don't just like it, I love it.
Wow.
Wow.
Kyla, the woman who works the front desk,
Yeah.
she is a woman after my own heart.
Love
I
her.
salute. She's just, and when she's outside, they tell her she can't smoke out front anymore. So she's got to go out back, where she's always running into the guy who owns the store next door, and she can't, she's always trying to figure out. Now, I've run into those situations.
Yeah.
Shane Gillis is hysterical. The guy who plays his cousin,
Uh,
perfect straight man for him.
yeah.
When they're talking to the reporter and he decides, it was all me. It was a really dumb idea, blah, blah, I think it's a really great workplace. Like, I worked with quirky people. I worked with you. I worked
Yeah.
with Al, who might be the quirkiest person in the
Yeah.
history of mankind. I can't wait to watch the rest of it. Surprisingly, Angelo, I love it.
Hey,
So-
Jay, what about you?
So I'm a big fan of it. It's a little close to my heart because there are a lot of Philadelphia comedians that show up in it. And what's interesting to me is I feel like this is very close to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, not just in tone,
Yeah.
but also in production.
Good
And
one.
here's an interesting side on this. This show was self-funded in the first season. Shane
Wow.
Gillis did this himself out of his own pocket and then sold it to Netflix. So it was self-produced. The second season is being funded by Netflix. So I think in a large way, you have an added budget, you have people to, you don't have to make as many compromises when Netflix is footing the bill. So I think that in small part explains why it made such a leap in quality from season 1 to season 2. So I just want to talk about that for a second. This is a show that obviously and I would say Always Sunny, same thing. Season 1,
Yeah,
before Danny
yeah.
DeVito
You're
got
right.
there, was good. But the second DeVito showed
Right.
up, it became a better show. And that's why it's such a classic. Angela, can you name me another show in your experience that had such a leap season to season?
I can't. That is a great comparable because now I think Sunny's just about to release their 16th season.
Yep.
So it's going to be the longest running sitcom in American history. But yeah, there's one show that came right to mind when I went, wow, the show evolved. This title may hit a chord with you. The show is called The Seinfeld Chronicles.
Oh my God, that was mine.
Oh, it was. Wow, that's probably the most classic one, Rhea. It wasn't even Seinfeld in the first season.
Yep.
And you know what? It wasn't that good.
Oh, he was terrible, and he remained terrible for many seasons. He was the worst person. But Ange, it was the one that immediately came to mind was Seinfeld.
Because
I got-
there was a debate about whether they were bringing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the numbers weren't good. They didn't have good ratings. You're right. Seinfeld had never acted, and you could tell.
Yes.
And even though they surrounded him by zany characters, the show didn't hit its stride until the second season. And they just got a reprieve. It was really on the fence. And it became one of the greatest, maybe the greatest sitcom ever.
And there's another fun funding story about that. The first season of Seinfeld was paid for out of the late night budget,
There you
Wow.
not the sitcom budget, because Brandon Tartikoff liked Seinfeld, didn't have enough money that season to do another series. So that's why the Seinfeld Chronicles is only 4 episodes, because it came out of late night's budget. I have two quick ones and then one that you're going to call me a nerd for. Parks and Rec and Office, both of their first
Yes.
seasons
You're
were
right.
almost cancelable, and
Yes.
then it became classics. And then the one that you probably never watched an episode, and I'm going to prove why I lost my virginity so late. But Star Trek: The Next Generation,
Oh,
Yeah.
for goodness
the
sake.
first 2 seasons, I watched 45 episodes of that show before it got good in the third season. That shows you what I was doing in 1987, Rhea.
How'd you
Nothing.
even get married? I
Hey,
don't even know how somebody actually agreed to go on a date with you.
all right,
That
I got
show.
one question, right? Because Rhea, you blew me away that you love tires.
Yeah.
That did not seem like your kind of show. Did you already have Novocaine at the dentist's office before you
No,
watched the
no,
second
I wasn't.
episode?
I wasn't in the seat. They were running late.
Okay, so you
So
had not, you were yourself.
no. And I
Okay.
was literally, there's a guy in there. I love people now who bring their dogs to appointments. Like I
Yeah.
and it's only people who bring the little dogs. I'm like, well, why can't I bring my pit bull?
You
Why
Yeah.
should.
can't I bring Cheney into the office? I don't think that would go over well. But he kept looking at me because I kept laughing.
Yeah.
And he didn't know I just had my phone and my earbuds in.
I,
And Angelo, I have quirky taste,
yes.
but I thought the characters played so well together. I
Yeah.
really just liked them.
I'm glad you mentioned the receptionist because she's one
Oh,
of my favorite characters. She's so dark. It's great. It's a hell of a show. I
yeah.
can't believe it. It's really good.
Rhea, quick story about my wife and I and why she should never have married me. When we were first dating, she went to France like early on. We had been dating like
Yeah.
3 weeks. She went to France. It was a long scheduled trip. She was there for 2 weeks. She came back a day early, stopped by my apartment, knocked on the door. I met her at the door and she was like, "Hey, I'm home early. Can I come up?" And I was like, "No."
What?
I don't think you should come up. And she was like, "What's going on, Jay? What is going on, Jay?" And I was like, "Fine. Do you want to come up?" And I brought her up. I was playing D&D, playing Dungeons and Dragons. All my whole
God.
party was over. And my wife looked at me and said, "I would have been happier if it were another woman. I would have been happier if you had had a girlfriend. What is this?" I had little dragons, little
Oh,
knights. I don't know why she married me either. All right.
no.
Makes no sense. All right, Rhea,
Great
you
story.
are deep into the sports world still, working at
Yes.
WIP. You know a lot about what's going on in the world. I don't follow the WNBA. I don't really know anything about it. I'm aware of the WNBA because of a woman named Caitlin
Sure.
Clark. Caitlin Clark recently got injured. And just out of curiosity, I was like, wow, I wonder if that affected the ratings for the games.
Yeah.
Not only did it affect the ratings for her team, the Fever, right? It's the Indiana
Yeah.
Fever,
The
right?
Fever, Indiana Fever.
Uh, the entire league, every single game being played by the WNBA lost 50% of its viewership in the time that Caitlin Clark was injured. Rhea,
And it was ticket prices. The ticket prices for her next game after she got injured went from $85 to $25.
Wow.
has
Yeah.
there ever been a person in sports
Yes.
this much bigger than the game and the league that they played in? I can't think of one. You tell
I'll
me
let
anything
Angelo
about
answer
it.
that. I think I
Who
know
is
where
All
he's
it?
right,
going.
all right. Do I get a gift or a prize or something if I get this right? Because I know the answer, and the reason I know the answer is I've been watching a lot of golf lately. I'm not proud of it, but it's happening. And I was watching the U.S. Open. I guess it was Saturday or Sunday,
Yeah.
and it started to rain, and they didn't know what to do, so they went, "Let's show a previous U.S. Open,
Sure.
2008." So 2008,
Yep.
why,
You
Rhea?
know who that is.
Why'd they go back that far? Tell them, Rhea.
Tiger Woods. Yeah. I mean, I never watched golf in my life until Tiger Woods. Golf I found boring. He drew in non-golf people. There are just certain people who have this quality about them. The number one quality is they're phenomenally gifted. So
Right.
you got to have that. And
Right?
I watch golf. I would literally turn on golf if there was any chance. And in his early years, if he was within sight of the championship, I was watching.
Oh, absolutely. Now, there's an extra element here.
Yeah.
See, with Tiger Woods, I watched him a lot because I rooted hard against him.
Yes, you did.
He was a villain to me.
Yeah.
Now, with Caitlin Clark, she's not a villain, but she has a villain,
Yeah.
right? What was it? Angel Reese,
Angel
right?
Reese.
Yeah.
And that dynamic, and I
Yeah.
know there's a racial component to it. I'm not going to try to hide that. But the fact that they're so different and that people are on one side or the other. Angel Reese is one of the reasons Caitlin Clark is such a big deal. You need that extra element. You're a screenwriter. You know this better than anyone,
Yeah.
Jay. You got to have a dynamic. Something's got to
Well,
work.
Ange, it's Larry Bird and Magic. I mean, that
Yes.
was, 50 years ago. It's the same thing.
Right. By the way, I was on Team Magic then because I knew Bird and he was a horse's ass. All right. But anyway, you got me off the thing. But that's the key to it. And here's the thing. All right. Caitlin Clark should take every endorsement deal she's offered. She should make as much money as she can in the next few years
Right.
because this will not make the WNBA a big monster TV production. It won't. It's an outlier. It's an aberration. And she should take advantage of it where she can because the WNBA is still a lousy sports
But,
product.
but Ange, here's what I'll say is the NBA should look at
Yeah,
this
you're
for a
right.
simple
Right.
reason. What you're saying is
Yeah,
that rivalry was created in college. We
true.
got to know Angel Reese, and I'm more of an Angel Reese fan than Caitlin Clark's amazing to watch. Angel Reese just has personality in droves.
Oh,
I think she gets the rivalry. She
right.
feeds into it. So I kind of like that. But the NBA should realize the Sixers have a draft coming up. I don't think I've seen a single player, and except Cooper Flag. Everybody's seen
Yeah,
Cooper Flag is
Correct.
going to be the number
right.
one pick. You create these rivalries in college between
True.
top players, it carries through and people want to see it.
And you
Totally
know
right.
what, Angelo, to speak to your villain statement, Angel Reese has been embraced by TikTok
Yeah.
as a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an ongoing series where a bunch of people bet on if she'll miss the first basket every day, and they play the Titanic theme song. They say, "Here
Oh,
we go, here we go, here we go," and when it misses, they all scream, and the
Oh
Titanic
my
theme
God.
song plays. And you hate Angel Reese, but you don't really hate her. You just
no.
No.
enjoy the fact that there's this rivalry going on, and I kind
Yep.
of dig that.
Yep.
Guys, why don't we skip over the third topic that we were
Yeah.
going to talk about today? Because we had so much fun talking about tires and Caitlin Clark. We can talk about the other one next week. And let's skip to somebody who is the exact opposite of a villain, a hero in the world of reasonably priced jewelry. Angelo, tell me about our great sponsor, Steven Singer.
Well, now that I'm retired, I have lots of time to reflect back on things happened during my career at WIP.
You actually remember them?
Fewer and fewer Rhea, as time goes on. And June was a special month because it was the month of the annual bubble bath. And I just, when we talk about Steven and we talk about how nutty he was, when it came to promoting, no idea was a bad one. And he decided that every June we would take his jewelry store right on the other corner of 8th and Walnut, and he would fill it with real bubbles. We would be doing the show in the midst of a bubble bath. Frankly, we did some bitching because it was hard to breathe with
And,
all
and
the
one
chemicals.
year, remember the one year I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I was like 8 months pregnant with Clark, and I
yeah,
said,
that's
I'm
right.
not going.
That's right. And then we would recruit people. They would come in and get on the floor of a jewelry store, which had a covering over it, and crawl through the bubbles to try to find jewelry. And then somebody would end up getting an engagement ring. And oftentimes we set it up so they would actually propose on the air.
Wow.
And it just shows you that Stephen would go to any length to get the message out that he had a special place. And his creativity, we always say that these shows are not creative enough. He's a brilliant creator. And he created this bubble bath. And it's just another reason why he's such a great success story in the jewelry business.
And Angelo, you brought up June. So, I always like to pop on Steven's website, IHateStevenSinger.com. A lot of us think of pearls as old school. Our mom wore pearls, grandma wore pearls. Well, the birthstone for June are pearls. He's got some that is so modern looking. And again, totally reasonably priced. But I went on, I was like, even has Angelo a pearl dipped rose. So
Wow.
beautiful. If
Yeah.
you want to get somebody, the woman, daughter in your life, she's got a June birthday, and you think pearls are old school, check out I Hate Steven Singer. You will find out they are not.
Yeah. Rhea just said it. We look for people in sports who are truly above elite, like the greatest of the great,
Yeah.
like a Tiger Woods. In jewelry, Steven Singer is Tiger Woods.
Love that. And you know what, guys? We got one of the best fan mails we ever got. There was no name signed to it, but they said, "Hey, just want to let you know I went to Steven Singer. I bought a piece from Gigi, and I mentioned the TV show podcast when I did. I got to send that text or that fan mail to our contact at Steven Singer. I felt like a proud son who had hit a home run in a game because I never did that in real life, but I got to do that in an email." And they were thrilled about that. So if you do go and you listen to us, you go to Steven Singer, let us know because that means a lot to us that we get to connect you to the person that sponsors our show. It means a lot
And
to us.
let them know when you go in there.
I
Please.
hate stevensinger.com, the other corner of 8th and Walnut.
Excellent. Now let's go to another beacon of
Up.
excellence. Rhea Hughes with the British Report. What do you got for us, Rhea?
So I actually have an Australian one, and I am generally a big fan of the Australian ones. This is The Survivors on Netflix. It is 6 episodes. So it's based in an Australian coastal town of Tasmania. Again, the location is literally as much a character as anything else. You want to get on a plane and go there. My son's going to Australia next year. He'll tell me about it. So basically, it starts off a young man, like I would say in his late 20s, girlfriend, baby daughter, come back to Evelyn Bay, this town, to visit with his parents. The father is in the early stages of dementia. But what it is, it's also the 15-year anniversary. I hate to call them anniversaries of when two young men were killed in a storm off of the coast. But there was also a 14-year-old girl who went missing, and she's kind of been forgotten. And this woman comes in who's kind of doing like a podcast kind of video thing about this girl. The boys have always been celebrated, the young men who were killed, but the girl has been forgotten. And she starts to investigate, and then there's a dead body, and it launches this whole investigation into what really happened in that storm 15 years ago. And that there are different people in the town who kind of really know what happened. So here's what I will say is now it got really the critic reviews 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which
Wow.
surprised me. Audience 72%. I'm closer to the audience for this reason. The mystery was good. I had no idea who did it till the end. So I will say that they planted enough red herrings that you knew. I didn't find a single character likable. And that's the problem. You have to have someone in a show like this that I don't want to say you root for, but you like. You go, okay, I like when this character's. I didn't like really anybody who starred in this, any of the characters, but it kept my attention. It was good. It wasn't great. So I will just say, you can watch it. I didn't love it. I liked it. I did watch the whole thing. If I don't like something at all, I'll stop after 3 episodes. So I did watch all 6 episodes on Netflix called The Survivors.
All
The
right, let me say
Survivor.
something here, Rhea, because I've been hoping you'd review that. I looked at it and I went, Australian. Wentworth, my favorite show of all time.
Yes.
There's nobody in 8 seasons who's likable. It
Yeah.
didn't, it was never a problem for me.
It wasn't a
I
problem. Then
actually
you'll
like,
you'll enjoy it then because
yes,
there's
I'm
you're
on
really
it.
the only likable guy. And I thought he played it really well because, I think we've all unfortunately dealt with older people in our lives who have dementia. He played, I think his name's Brian in it. He played it with a lot of grace and sincerity. So I will say he was the one likable character in it.
Right. This is another reference of me and dementia.
No,
Yeah.
it was
That's what I
not.
sensed. That's what I
Angelo,
did.
grace and sincerity is nothing I will ever attach to you.
And Rhea, I told you have a teen segment for us this week, and it's a movie that I
Yes.
saw as well.
Clark went to see How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version. I was a little disappointed because the first one came out when Clark was 1. Now we watched it when he was probably like around 4 or 5. He and I have seen everyone together. He says to me on Saturday, "Hey mom, it's Father's Day. Can I go to watch it with Dad?" And I was like, "Ugh, all right, fine. Go to watch it with dad. Calls me 6 o'clock Sunday and goes, I should have went with you. I go, why? And he goes, Dad fell asleep as soon as he got in the chair. So I was quite proud of that, but he really liked it. He said it obviously it's not as good as the original animation one, which we loved. But Gerard Butler, who was the voice of Stoic, the father, he plays the guy very good. The only thing Clark said he didn't like was the female. They got the fraternal twins, Rough Nut and Tough Nut.
Yeah, they
He
weren't great. I didn't
he
like either of
he
them.
yeah, he said the boy was a little bit better than the girl, but he didn't like her at all. But otherwise, he said it was very good. Not as good as the original, but he enjoyed it.
I quite enjoyed it as well. It's been a long time since I've seen the original. My son said, he brought up an interesting philosophical conversation, which is
Oh,
if you're going to remake it, why do it beat for beat? Because it's so close to the original
yeah.
that the original was good, so this one is good, but did it need to exist? To which my daughter said, does anything need to exist? And they got into it a little bit. So, yeah, I just have one thing to say about this. And Angelo, I want you to agree with me on this. Apple dropped the ball. You mentioned Father's Day. I went to see How to Train Your Dragon 2 because it was the only thing that was out. F1 is coming out next week. Is
Oh,
that not the
dumb.
ultimate
Yeah.
dad movie? Why
Mistake.
wasn't it
Yes.
released this week?
Mistake.
Every old man in the world wants to go see that movie. Why?
Mm,
What is wrong with Apple, Angelo?
right. Well, not every old man. I don't have no interest in Brad Pitt or auto racing, but I get your point. They blew it. That's
Yeah,
stupid.
makes no
Do
Yeah,
it
sense.
that's a guy
when,
movie.
oh,
It would have
crazy.
made $200 million. It's the plot of the movie is old guy drives fast, young guys are impressed. What
Right.
old man doesn't want to see that other than Angelo?
Real quick, I
Other
just
than
want to
me.
throw in a plug for Plane, also starring Gerard Butler on Netflix. It was fun. It's not anything Angela will like because it's
Oh, I
high
wanted to
action.
see that. Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and it actually got good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a fun, white knuckle, bad guys, good guys against the world, crash landing of a plane. I enjoyed it immensely.
I'm in on that, Rhea. Looks good. Looks good.
All right. I have a documentary hat trick today.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Three different new documentaries, two of them a series that all came out in the past week and are all really great. All right. Well, two came out in the past week, one in the past month. I'll start real quick on this. Titan on Netflix, the submersible that blew up.
Yep.
Wow, it's just an hour and a half,
Can
and
you watch it, Ange, without freaking out when they're
I
down
no, I
below?
I freak out, but I like freak. They seal five people in this tiny capsule, and I mean seal them, Rhea. They literally screw in the cap.
Ugh.
There's
Oh,
no
Yeah.
getting out,
I don't
and
like
they
this at
take
all.
you into this nightmare. And all I want to say about it, I love a villain. I like to hate people when I watch this stuff. Stockton Rush is a privileged, arrogant killer
Yeah.
because his arrogance got convinced those people they were safe,
yeah,
got them into the submersible, and they all died. It's
yeah.
a really now if you are claustrophobic, I'm not gonna lie to you. This
Me.
my son won't watch it because he said
No, I
no.
won't.
But Rhea, it's really all right. Second one, you wouldn't believe in a million years I would like this. Call her daddy. I'm
Mm.
sorry. I'm sorry. Let me see me say. Call her Alex is the actual name of it. It's
Call Her
based
Daddy is
on
a porn website, Angelo.
yes. It's no Rhea. It's not. There's this amazing woman named Alex Cooper who has this podcast. Call Her Daddy. That is second behind Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
I
she's
mean,
really good.
it's very sexual, but all I could tell you is this. She is spellbinding. She is
She is.
beautiful beyond
Yep.
belief. She is smart as smart could be. And I watched this, and you know what I thought, guys? Let's take a run at Rogan and Call Her Daddy. Let's try to be number one. So,
Wow.
Okay.
Jay, it may require both of us to no longer be shown on screen, right?
Okay with
Maybe
that?
a bigger picture of Rhea and have Rhea host it. And then we would just throw in a few things. Rhea's as good as Alex Cooper. There's no reason why we can't
Yeah,
be up
but
there too.
not in a million years do I look like her. She's stunning.
She really is amazing.
Yeah,
All right.
she is.
Anyway, that's really good too. That's two episodes. It's really great. And then my son got me onto this, and it's called Golden Greed: The Hunt for Fenn's Treasure. 3 parts on Netflix.
Hmm.
This old guy, 80 years old, right? He writes a memoir. He realizes it's boring. No one's going to read it. But he's really rich. So he gets a treasure chest and he buries it somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. And he writes a poem, and there are 9 clues in the poem as to where it is. And whoever finds the treasure chest is a millionaire because it's worth somewhere between $1 and $3 million. And all these people go on this crazed treasure hunt to try to find it.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you something. In the annals of documentaries, there's a family of 3 Hicks, 3 real hayseeds. You will not want them ever to not be on the screen.
Yeah.
These people are so bizarre and interesting. And it's a controversial ending. And I'm just telling you right now, man, you want to see something that wraps you up and holds you. Well, Gail loved it too. Golden Greed, The Hunt for Fenn's Treasure on Netflix. It's a great, great read. Absolutely fantastic watch. You will love all 3 of those things.
Real fast, this is not a new review. I just want to ask you guys, have you ever seen The Righteous Gemstones either?
First episode.
So you didn't get past the first episode, right? You didn't like the
Danny McBride to me. I love Danny McBride at the beginning, Eastbound and Down, and ever since then it's been down.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I watched the first episode, didn't like it. Watched it again, didn't like it. Watched it a third time, skipped over the first episode, went to the second episode, and then I blew through the season. I thought it was great. I'm anxious to start the second season. I think the first episode, the pilot, the tone was off, and the tone got better after the second episode. I'm enjoying it. It's an older show. It's done now. All 4 seasons are out. I think it's like 38 episodes total on Max. Just want to throw it out there. If you haven't tried it, or if like Angelo and me, you started the first episode and didn't like it, try the second episode. It gets good. I watched it this week and I really enjoyed it. So
that's how I got to Succession. It took a while.
It takes
But
a while.
Once you get it, it grabs you. Like, here's what we are talking about. We all highly recommend Tires on Netflix just now. You got to check it out. You want to watch the WNBA? Go to NBA TV, or like almost every network's got some of their games. All right. Rhea is strongly urging you to check. Well, she's kind of urging you to check out The Survivors in Netflix. It just doesn't have anybody she liked in it. How to Train Your Dragon remake is in theaters now. And she also said to check out Plane with Gerard Butler at Netflix. Titan is on Netflix. Call Her Alex is on Hulu. Fenn, it's actually Golden Greed, The Hunt for Fenn's Treasure, is on Netflix. And Gemstones is on HBO Max.
Thank you so much, Angelo. You can check out Angelo Cataldi's book Loud on either angelocataldi.com, audible.com, or amazon.com. You can watch Rhea Hughes every single day on YouTube at the WIP Morning Show. You can check me out. I have 2 shows I'm doing in the area. I'm doing July 9th. I'm going to be at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick. And then June 25th, I should have done those in different orders. I'm going to be at Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club in Point Pleasant. You can go to my website, jblack.tv, for tickets. Come see what about my personal magnetism made my wife overcome Star Trek and the Dungeons and Dragons to be with me.
That story. I didn't think I could think less of you, but I do. I really, Dungeons and Dragons. Honey, no, you can't come upstairs. I have a dragon up there.
Yeah, and I was training it. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Great show, everybody. Thank you.